has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharp Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharp Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharp Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is. Larry Sharpe here. Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty. The number to call after the first break, 585-346-3000. You know, I have been thinking about a lot of when I was a kid. Why do I think about that? Because there's been a lot of, recently at least, violence in New York City. And I remember where I grew up as a kid. I grew up in the South Bronx during the 70s. It was a violent area, right? It was definitely a violent time, I should say. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. A violent time. There was drugs. New York Savage Skulls were the bad gangs in that area. Remember the movie Fort Apache? That was kind of northern Bronx compared to where I was. But my father was in law enforcement. He was first the subway cop, and then he was a corrections officer at Rikers Island. So he always carried a firearm on him, usually on his ankle. And this is 70, so everybody was wearing bell bottoms, so you could wear an ankle holster very easily back then. And he kept his badge on him all the time. So he's out there with me, and we're walking in a park. And back then, the Yankee Stadium was on the opposite side of where it is now. There was a park down there. And the park, in the park, as we were walking, there was a guy who seemed to be somehow harming or touching inappropriately, I'll say that, a younger lady as we were walking by. And he noticed. And he stopped. And so did I. We were together walking in the park. And I didn't understand it. I was a kid, maybe 7, 8. I don't know. I was little. I just knew that something's wrong. My dad's stopping, and this woman seems to be crying. Something's bad. He literally pulled out his badge, grabbed him, grabbed her, and I found out later this guy was literally a bad guy doing a bad thing publicly to a young woman. That's what I will say. That's what I hopefully can say legally and don't get in trouble. But the point is, he saw it, he acted. Other people came around when they saw it and then recognized it and went, oh my God, what's going on? And people began to care. And this was the South Bronx, and the community cared, and people said things. Now, I'm not trying to say that all of a sudden my community was safe, but I felt safe. I did. I felt safe. Why would a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid feel safe in bad neighborhoods? To this day, I still don't mind bad neighborhoods. I still feel comfortable in many bad neighborhoods. Why? Because generally speaking, if you are in a bad neighborhood, there are actually still rules. And if any of you have been raised in bad neighborhoods, then you know that's true. Very often, you find that there are rules in bad neighborhoods. How do you act? What do you say? Who do you say to whom? Who's the gang leader here or there? All those things, right? Where do you go? What time do you go there? But a lot of people now, even in bad neighborhoods, aren't feeling safe in New York City. Why? Because there aren't any rules. And it may sound silly to somebody listening, but it's still true, right? It's still true. Meaning that most of the things we see that scare us, they're random. That's the issue. They're random. The biggest one that we all see, that we've heard about, is the woman who was lit aflame on the New York City subway. Why? Was this his girlfriend that he was mad at who was cheating on him? Right? Again, that wouldn't make it any better, but then at least I could understand that. I can put that in my head. I don't have to feel worried or afraid because I'm not this guy's girlfriend, right? So then it becomes, while still terrible, understandable. Was this a gang hit? She was part of a rival gang and he's somehow trying to get her back for a bad drug deal or something, right? Is that what this was about? Was there a disrespect? Something like that? No. This was random. Was this some guy who had a beef because of a neighborhood beef? No. He was a migrant, new to America. New to America. This is what makes it even harder for anyone to understand, even if you come from a bad neighborhood like I do. And I'm sure people listening, you either come from or have been in bad neighborhoods. So I'm not the only guy. But this makes it even worse. Now I have to make it even worse than this. We've known this for years. This has been happening for years as communities break down. No one cares. No one pays attention. One of the worst things about this incident, which is why I'm focusing on this incident, is that people saw her on fire, ran away. I get that part. I do. Some people are scared. I get that you're scared, you ran away. Okay. Don't like it, but I understand it. And then people took out their phones and watched her burn. I'm going to go further. Cops nonchalantly walked past her as she burned. Well, Larry, that's because cops are bad. No, cops are human, as I say all the time. They are affected, like we all are, by our environment, by our community, or lack thereof. Christmas is supposed to be a time, this season, the holiday season is supposed to be a time of us thinking about our family and friends and community. And I know in my city, New York City, it's gone. We just saw it as people took out their phone. And again, she wasn't sitting there, and be clear, she wasn't sitting there like they thought maybe she was dead. Okay, I can understand that. If you thought she was already dead, there's no one to help. I get it. She's dead. She was standing up. Yes. Trying to decide what to do. She couldn't because she was on fire. She couldn't speak. It's all been burned out already. Yes, how horrible that is. Imagine that. Yes, she was standing up. And they just watched. No one gave her the stop, drop, and roll. No one tried to do anything. And the cops didn't even try to find the bad guy until someone told them who the bad guy was. Yeah, someone said, oh yeah, it was him. The guy who's fanning the flames, literally, so she could burn more. Let me say it again. The guy who was literally fanning the flames on video, I'm not making this up, so that she could burn more, that was the bad guy. Cops did nothing. People did nothing. Nobody grabbed him, said, hey, that's the guy. Nothing. They told the cops later, oh yeah, that guy over there, that's him. Oh, she dead already? Yeah, that's the guy. Go get him. He's a bad guy. I guess. They didn't even know that. That's what happened. This is a breakdown of community. This is a breakdown of responsibility. This is a breakdown of everything. They were physically there and did nothing. It wasn't like the guy had a weapon and they were scared of him, like he had something on him. But you know who's the bad guy in New York right now? Daniel Penny. the guy who actually did something. He's the bad guy. I remember a story I might have told here. My daughter and I are walking. And as my daughter and I are walking in New York City, she's asking me about fixing this or fixing that. I said, I don't bother anymore. She said, why? I said, I used to be that guy. When I came back to the city after being in the military and being out for a while, and I came back around 1999 or so, 2000, I came back. I was the guy who tried to stop. I was the Daniel Penny, the Marine. Me, the ex-Marine, same thing. Former Marine, same thing. I was the guy who would say stuff, stop people, do stuff. And I got yelled at. They yelled at me when I tried to stop things from, when I was up and go, what are you doing, man? Stop. I would do that. I was that guy. And they would yell at me. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Why are you doing this? Wow. Okay. Maybe I'm the bad guy. Did it again when I saw bad behavior. Again, the whole subway car, mad at me, yelling at me. Leave him alone. Who are you? What are you, a cop? That's what I got. And I went, okay, I'm wrong. I'm not going to care either then. I am also affected by my environment, as everyone else is. I am also affected by it. So I stopped. The breakdown of community, the breakdown of society, the breakdown of law enforcement all goes together. Who is to blame? Obviously, it's the evil Donald Trump who's the racist guy and blah, blah, blah. No. But here's what this will do. It will make the people who want to throw everybody out, the people who actually want to just harm migrants because they're migrants, it'll give them the cover to be bad. I don't think most people who want to get rid of migrants are bad. I don't. But there are a group of people within that group of people, a group within a group, is that right? Yes. Who are bad, of course. And now they have cover. So you've made the bad people, you've given them cover to do bad things. And the people who just want law and order, you've made them feel like the bad people forever. And now they're going to be taken over by the actual bad people. So who should have done something? Our leaders should have. But do we have that? No. We have a governor, I'm sorry, our queen, Queen Kathy I, all hail, who is far more concerned with finding people who drive by school buses and ghost guns and ghost cars and teaching black kids to swim versus people being set aflame on a subway. And we wonder why people keep leaving this city, why people keep leaving this state. This is the reason why. I know it's a terrible way to start Christmas Eve, but I want to bring up this because the answer is not more government. The answer is community. It always has been. It always will be. And this is the right season to start it. Am I wrong? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Dion, you see this most likable spokesperson poll?
Really? I might know somebody. Oh, we're looking forward to this today, aren't we?
Seriously, guys? We're a team. We're not competing against each other.
Ooh, who's a good spokesperson?
2 puppies? I did not expect that from you.
One of them's for you.
Oh,
Who's a good spokesperson? Yes, go to West Her.
Welcome to West End, New York.
Hi, my name is Evan Spindleman, founder and owner of Flood Broker. Flood insurance premiums are skyrocketing, and if you have to have flood insurance coverage to secure your mortgage, you owe it to yourself to call me to see how I can save you money on your flood insurance premium. The insurance programs I use are bank accepted and will satisfy your loan requirement. Please give me a call at 585-736-4366 today to get a free no obligation quote. That's 585-736-4366. Call today.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty, WYSL in Rochester, New York, WLEA and WCKR in Hornell, New York, the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000. I have been talking about the massive issue, the big issue in New York City, because this same weekend, or same week, that this woman was set ablaze, there were stabbings, shootings, all in the New York City subway stations. She might say, wait a minute, Larry, I thought it was safer. Well, it depends on how you decide that, but it's not. There are random things that are happening constantly, again and again and again. Well, Larry, if you're so smart, what would you do? I've been talking about this since 2018. I brought up ways to fix the MTA since 2016. I brought up ways to fix and deal with crime since 2018. It's just been getting worse. It was bad in 2018, nowhere near as bad as it is now, but it was bad, and it was going to keep happening. I'm the one who talked about being able to vet migrants in the Bronx. Remember that? In 2022, when I spoke about this, I said, here's how we fix the system. We can vet people so you can still take in migrants, but take in migrants the country wants and needs, and get rid of the bad guys. And I know the argument. Those of you who are very pro-migrant, I get it. You say, Larry, 99% of these people are good people. I will accept that. I'll accept that as true. I'm not going to fight you. 99% good people. Okay. We took in 200,000 in New York City. If 99% are good people, like you tell me, I just put 2,000 bad guys on my streets. 2,000 bad guys on my streets. Currently, most crime in New York City is done by hundreds of people. Hundreds. I just put thousands more on. And I wonder, why is crime going up? Why is there more violence? Why is there more robbery? We are being robbed so much in New York. Being robbed so much in New York. They don't report it anymore. That's one of the reasons why crime is down. I'm not making that up. Do your own homework. That's true. We're being robbed so much that the city that never sleeps is starting to sleep. Why is it sleeping? Because they can't get people to take shifts at night anymore. They won't do it. They need money, but they don't want to be killed. They don't want to be robbed. So they're not taking it. They're stopping. So now what happens? You have to put family members. I'm not joking. So now I got a family. I'm a legal migrant. I've come to America. I own a store. My family does. And now, because I can't hire somebody, I used to hire other legal migrants to come in and watch my store. Okay. I can't do it anymore. They won't do it. So what do? I got to put my son, my niece, my nephew, my cousin, my wife, my husband. I got to make them watch it. I have to sacrifice now my family's life because no one else will do it. And here's the worst part. Now, when someone does it, when the son or the cousin or the nephew stands up to the bad guy and says, my family eats off this store. My family survives off this store. I can't go to school. I can't go to college unless this store succeeds, and you're going to come in and rob me? No, I'm going to defend you. I'm going to defend my store. That kid goes to jail. I'm not joking. That kid goes to jail. That just happened, by the way. That's why I'm saying it. Kid said, I'm defending my store, my family store. He goes to jail. Yeah. Community is supposed to stop this. Family is supposed to stop this. But we don't do that. We focus on punishment, more rules, more laws, more regulations. And again, what will happen? My biggest worry, if you remember, I spoke about this after Trump won. My biggest worry is that he would put the wrong people in charge of getting out the migrants. That was my worry. That he would put zealots in, and they would come in and just sweep everybody off the streets and throw everybody in jail and throw everybody across the border and just be terrible. That was my worry. But then what I heard was, no, we're going to focus on bad guys. And I went, okay, I'm not so worried. Okay, maybe my fears were too much. Okay. And if you remember, I was calming down. I was like, okay, this is not so bad, right? Because you know me, libertarian, I don't like cops coming in people's doors and taking people out. Don't like that at all. Focusing on the bad guys. Okay, I'm calm, right? I'm calm. Okay. And then I hear Eric Adams saying, you know what? I'm good with that too. And Eric Adams was not good with that at all. And now he's like, no. We're getting the bad guys. I'm okay with this. I start feeling better. All right. It's at the end of the world. We're going to do this better. Now this happens. Well, now if there are bad guys who in the anti-migrant community, those guys now have a nice big voice. Throw them all out. Get rid of them all. Everybody in jail. Those guys now have a big voice. This could go horribly wrong now. And here's the part you might say, but Larry, if that's true, then people like Hochul, people like Adams, people like that, these crazy leftist people who love migrants so much, they would never let this happen. I would argue the reverse. They can't wait for it to happen. Hochul can't wait for some overzealous ICE crew to throw people in jail who shouldn't be in jail, to grab like legal migrants and put them in jail. Cannot wait for that to happen. Can't wait. Very glad this happened. I know it sounds cruel, but I believe it. Can't wait. Because when it happens, they can now go, see, I told you how evil Trump was. He's putting everybody in jail. He's a tyrant. All the things. He's a fascist. All the words they made up about him last year and this year, it will all be true. Now they have it. They will keep us divided. They will keep us fighting each other. And as you do that more and more, what do? We beg for some kind of referee. And who's that referee? It's government. Every single time. The division makes things worse. They know. They're doing it. And it drives me crazy. You think they don't know there's Venezuelan gangs all around my city? Of course they do. You think they don't know that? Of course they do. You think they haven't told the cops? Shh, don't, just stay away. Stop. Of course they have. And so they have. So more and more people now are being hurt and harmed. And now, with as divisive as always, and politics is more important than people. Power is more important than safety. Power is more important than principle. Am I angry today? I am. And it's Christmas Eve. I better calm down. All right. I'll be better, I promise. Larry Sharpe here. Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000. I will stop ranting and raving, I promise. I will take your calls and your chat right after the break.
Soros-free talk radio.
WYSL.
Avon, Rochester. WLEA WCKR-FM Pornell.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Your Christmas Eve, we got a lot of clouds out there, nothing more than a few flurries. Temperatures in the 20s, low 30s on Christmas Day. Mostly cloudy skies in the low 30s. Generally fair weather for Thursday and Friday in the 30s. Then temperatures will get into the 40s with an increasing chance for rain showers through the weekend. I'm Rich Cadilia for the Voice of Liberty.
FM Talk.
Canisteo Valley Update.
Hornell Mayor John Buckley says the city of Hornell has been awarded over $500,000 from the New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Office. The money will go towards building an addition onto the Hornell Skating Park. The mayor says special thanks on that to Hornell City Planner Heather Reynolds for her efforts with grant applications. In other news, Hornell City offices are closed today and tomorrow. They'll reopen Thursday. Same thing next week, too. Hornell City Hall closes at noon Tuesday of next week, and it'll reopen Thursday, January 2nd. The library in Hornell will be closed Christmas Day and reopen Thursday the 26th. The library is also closed New Year's Day and reopens the day after that. The Hornell Hat buses will not run December 25th or January 1st. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
For the days before Christmas, you can tell by the sound. The face is so nuts, just fast food can be found. Shopping, the school play, decorations, and snow. For quality family food, where can you go? When what to your wondering eyes should appear but a juicy Wahlburger, a frosty root beer, handmade ice cream, crispy fries. Too busy to sit there? Then get it to go. And since Tom Wall's quality and value are things you can see, now you can get home to put up that tree. Tom Wall's wishes your family a season of cheer, a wonderful holiday, and a tasty new year. But just as you're settling tonight in your bed, hark! What's that sound that you hear overhead?
Oh, Merry Christmas to all, and make no mistake, it's not a hamburger, it's Tom Wall's ground steak.
A holiday greeting from Tom Wall's family to yours.
Tom Walls.
Get the warming effect of comfort and security in your new ride from Victor Chevrolet, the new leader for Chevy in Rochester, Canandaigua, and Fairport. Check out these great lease specials. Beat salt, snow, and ice in your new 2024 Chevy Silverado LT Crew Cab pickup. Just $349 a month.
We have a caller,
Keith.
2025
Chevy Equinox LT all-wheel drive.
You're welcome.
Only $279 a month for 36 months. Or a 2025 Chevy
okay.
Trailblazer LT. Only $219 a month for 27 months.
Mileage allowance on all deals, $10,000 per year. 25 cents each additional mile. $2,500 cash or trade equity plus first payment and DMV fees required at closing. Must have Tier 1 credit approval and current lease in household. Some exclusions may apply. Get more details at dealer.
And don't forget, Victor Chevrolet also has an unbeatable pre-owned selection. Whatever brand of vehicle you're driving, keep it safe and reliable for winter in their Chevy Certified Service Department. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Together, let's drive. Shop Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor.
Are you in need of a top-notch general surgeon? Look no farther than UR Medicine Noise Health, your trusted healthcare partner. At Noise Health, we prioritize your well-being, offering state-of-the-art facilities at 2 convenient locations. Our team of highly skilled surgeons is dedicated to your care. Choose UR Medicine Noise Health for a surgical experience that goes beyond expectations. Call 585-335-7179 to schedule your consultation today.
Here's another great tip from AirQuip Heating and Air.
A cold climate
I just sent you a funny text.
Year-round. And with today's new hyperheating technology, you'll stay toasty warm, even when outside temps dip below zero. Plus, they're up to 40% more efficient than conventional systems. We're Rochester's heat pump experts. Find out more at airquipheating.com.
Quality is in the air. AirQuip Heating and Air.
Oh,
know there is nothing like a ride in a vintage warplane, especially if it's Whiskey 7 flying over Letchworth. Purchase a gift certificate for 2025. Visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com. Click Book a Plane Ride.
Bob Savage here.
Hochul would probably outlaw BB guns if she could.
Specializing in pre-owned firearms and repairs. It's Christmas, time to get your favorite sportsman or woman something very special.
No more snowball fights.
259 East Main
Standing by.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty, 585-346-3000. I do want to grab a couple comments real fast before I go to a call, and they're related. Mike Voss says, New York is not safe. Open borders, zero vetting, guarantees we can't be safe. If laws are arbitrary, how can we expect illegals to follow any law? Yes, valid point. And Valerie says, Larry, neighborhood rules sounds kind of like mild mafia. Yes to both of those. What I mean by that, I'm not saying I want a mafia. Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if a mafia has rules, it's better than arbitrary, right? If a mafia has rules. If a mafia is arbitrary, like Mike says, it's as bad as government, no difference. But what we want as human beings is rules that we understand, rules that we can follow, rules that make sense, rules that feel safe. That feel safe. Why are some people happier with a mild mafia than a government? Because that government that they're talking about is exactly what Mike's talking about. It is arbitrary. It doesn't care. It decides wherever it wants to decide. If you have a mafia, don't get me wrong, mafias can be the same. But if you have a mafia that isn't that way, people would rather have the mafia. So, yes, and neighborhood rules aren't necessarily bad. So, yes to both. The point is, do we feel safe? Do we think it's fair? If we don't, we are unhappy. If we do, we are satisfied. And that's the key. So thank you for those two comments, guys. I'm going to grab a call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you, sir?
A sincere, honest Merry Christmas to you and your audience. I agree with the first chat person. Man to man, I'm getting some mixed signals in your presentation during the past half hour. So instead of going a long soliloquy like I usually do, this time I'm going to ask short questions. You and I can dialogue. Where is this vaunted community? You're almost talking pie in the sky utopia. You said correctly that no one came to that poor burning woman's assistance. It really is today, everyone, the death of outrage. No one is concerned about their fellow brother and sister. So that's first question, sir. Where is this vaunted community that you would really like in place that you, Mr. Sharpe, always latch on to? That's the first question. Go.
Currently, there isn't one in New York, and that is my problem. It doesn't exist. I wish it did. I would find better communities, and there are a couple of them. And you can find some of them in America even. And one of them is, again, better, not perfect, New Hampshire. New Hampshire right now has the literally most lenient gun laws in the entire country. It is also the safest state in the entire country. Those two things go hand in hand. They have more of a community. They have a massive state assembly, which has hundreds of people in it, because more people are involved locally in their own communities and in their own state. Now, that New Hampshire is not perfect at all, but is it better? Is it going in the right direction? Yes. So your point's valid. That community does not exist. Can it be better? Of course. Are there examples outside the country? Yes. The Swiss, similar idea. They have much more localism, much more local rules, and they are a safer country, and they are a happier country. So I think we do see examples of it being better. We, sadly, Keith, are going in the opposite direction. We are going with centralized control, the breakdown of communities, the breakdown of families, and it doesn't exist. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, before I ask about Trump, just a word about the Swiss. They've always allowed citizen soldiers that every
Yes.
soldier as such keep their rifle with them. But I've heard in recent years, Swiss government overall is looking more toward gun confiscation. So that's bad. That's an update.
That is Europe. Yes, going in one direction.
I had a hard time understanding, and I'll bring Trump in this on closing, and I'll make it fast. You seem to be really concerned that people are removed or that Trump is going to go overboard. But like this Guatemalan who murdered the woman there with a fire, what are we going to do? We can't have these bad people. In other words, like Venezuelan gangs, they pick on their own. This is what Mayorkas, the current Home Secretary, never understood. These gangs go after their own. What about the good, even the good illegal Venezuelans here, by example? So the bad guys have to be removed. And I wasn't sure of your critique or would-be critique of Trump, just where you were landing. His new guys.
Let me explain. I am always worried about government overreach. Always. I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve. I always worry about it. And my concern was Trump is probably not going to personally oversee this. He has a gazillion things to do. He's going to put somebody in charge. My initial worry, Keith, is he would allow a zealot to come in. And the zealot would just say, arrest everybody, ask questions later. That was my worry. And my worry is many of these violent, illegal migrants who are here, they live in communities where legal migrants live. And that some zealot will come in and say, arrest everybody, and we'll worry about everything later. And then people who shouldn't be arrested would be arrested. That was my worry. That wasn't necessarily a critique. It was a concern. But then after he got elected, he was saying, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to focus only on the people who are the criminals. I then said openly, I feel better about that. I'm not as concerned as I was. That was my worry. I feel better. Then I heard Eric Adams say, yeah, we're going to focus on the bad guys. Okay. I begin to calm down, right? My libertarian fear begins to come down a bit. Okay. My worry is this kind of event allows for people who wouldn't care, the zealot who wants to throw everybody out, to have more power, and that now that might happen. Does that make sense, Keith?
Jerry's on now. Next caller, Jerry.
Oh, sorry. I hope I answered your question at least, Keith. We have another caller I got to grab.
Jerry.
Jerry, how are you?
Larry, great to see you. Always a pleasure. Wishing you the happiest of holidays and appreciating what you're doing to bring people together in peaceful coexistence, listening to each other, appreciating each other, and having lots of gratitude for this wonderful planet we share.
Oh, thank you, my friend. What a wonderful call. Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays to you. Happy New Year and all the happy things to you.
Thanks. Talk to you in the new year. Blessings.
All right. Have a good one. Well, that was a nice call. I like those. Let's do more of those. So, yes. I hope I answered Keith's question. I had concerns, and now those concerns have kind of reared their ugly head. And again, the reason is the zealot anti-migrant on the right and the zealot pro-migrant on the left are both benefited by violence, if that makes any sense, right? They benefit from this. It gives them a reason, right? You see it in New York City. There are still more protests on people saying, no, we're going to defend the migrants no matter what. Doesn't matter. We're going to defend them no matter what. Still happening. And when the cops went and got that guy, again, the guy who set someone on fire, that guy, people were mad the cops were being too rough. I'm not joking. This is a guy who we saw on video. He was on a subway camera. He set a woman aflame. They were mad the cops were being too rough on him. This gives both the bad players on both sides win when there's violence. This is why I'm so unhappy about this. And I know some people go, well, no, the left is mad. Not the bad players. The right is mad. Not the bad players. The people who just want rules, like Mike was talking about, right? Who just want rules, like Valerie's talking about, who just want fair rules. They're hurt by this. They're hurt by this. Most people just want fair rules. Most people do. Me too. Now, don't get me wrong. I am always concerned about government overreach. But it's fine. Let's have that conversation. That's what I'm concerned about. I hope that was clear. Nicholas says, what you described is so much worse than I had heard. Yeah, I was here, and it actually happened. Mike's here in New York City too. He knows. Yes, and Mike goes on to say, the level of evil to watch that woman burn is inconceivable. NBC initially was afraid to describe him as Hispanic when the search was on, making him harder to find. Progressive politics harms us. I'll go one step further on this one, Mike. It isn't just that. It's virtue signaling. Virtue signaling kills. Let me say it again. Virtue signaling kills. What do I mean by that? To your point, Mike, they couldn't say the gender or not the gender. They couldn't say the race or the ethnic background because that means I'm bad and I'm racist. So I can't say that, the virtue signal. And things got worse. What if he had escaped? Not just that. Kathy Hochul, Queen Kathy, our glorious leader, she cares about Black kids swimming. Awesome virtue signal. Amazing virtue signal. Helping no one, and now people are dead. She cares about ghost guns and ghost cars. Amazing virtue signaling. So you've made illegal stuff illegaler. Virtue signal achieved. But then how are we helped? We're not. Usually, Mike, I'm pushing back on you. Here I'm pushing further than you. Not only is the politics bad, but the virtue signaling is literally harming. Absolutely. David says, heavy topic for Christmas Eve. Well, you were correct as usual, Larry. Yes, thank you, David. Let us all pray that we can change things and be part of positive change. It begins with community, my friend. It begins with local people doing local things. I preach about it all day long because it does make sense and it matters. We have to keep this going if we're going to save this state and save this nation. Keith was right. That magical place I talk about does not exist. But can we get better? Should this be, this magical place, what we're looking to achieve and the place we're going to, our North Star? Yes, it should be. Am I wrong? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Way Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your call and your chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
I'm Carmen Leonardo, licensed associate real estate broker with RE/MAX Realty Group. With so many realtor choices today, what sets Carmen Leonardo apart? It's the value I provide. With Carmen Leonardo, you get nearly 20 years of experience, a highly skilled negotiator, certified pricing strategy advisor, and seller representative specialist. Each client feels like they receive my undivided attention. Thinking about buying or selling? Call or text Carmen Leonardo 585-233-4119.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop specializing in pre-owned firearms and repairs. Get your rifle, shotgun, or pistol serviced and tuned before you take it to the field. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Merry Christmas.
This is Fred Stryker Selber of Just an Old Guy with a Mic podcast, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you for listening to Just an Old Guy with a Mic podcast.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, on the voice of Liberty. So happy to be here. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WLEA and WCKR, Hornell, New York. And for those of you who are celebrating Merry Christmas, obviously, I hope the season is treating you well, regardless of whether you're celebrating or not. I want to grab more comments. I got so many of them here. Valerie, being very savvy, as always, says, Governor Hochul will now ban lighters. Of course. When is it the evil in the person? Which is what she misses, the main point of the problem. Just like shootings or other incidents, locally back in 2012, a felon murdered, shot his sister dead in the house, set the house on fire. Early hours just before dawn, Christmas Eve. Then he hid out and shot several others and murdered two. Felon cowardly committed suicide on the beach afterwards. Fires continue burning. Horrible day for Rochester. This kind of thing does happen. She's right. People do feel bad, feel terrible, do horrible things. I would ask the question even in that case, Valerie, where was family? Where was community? I say it often. Community and family aren't a magical fix. They're not. There will still be bad, there will still be horrible things that will still exist. But can it make things better? Yes, absolutely. Things can be better. Jean brings up a very important point. She says, it may be a difficult way to start Christmas Eve for us, but how much worse for the family of that woman? It will be terrible for her family. I'll add again, if she has, or her family has, tight-knit family and a tight community, it will be less horrible. It'll still be horrible. It'll be less horrible if she has that. If not, it'll be worse for them. It'll be terrible. Michael's going to say, yes, serious topic on a holiday, but if unresolved, imagine the danger when society isn't trying to be kind and peaceful with each other. But what actually happens in the long run is gangs. That's what happens. There's no such thing as a, chaos, anarchy type thing. It's not what happens. What happens is we create gangs. That's what happens. And we have one now. It's called government. Paula says, make Sergeant Daniel Penny's verdict sound even more just and appropriate. Agreed. I told you I was not unhappy with his verdict. Many New Yorkers were. They thought he was the problem. A lot of New Yorkers thought that. Yes, I am not one of those New Yorkers. I am not unhappy at all with that. That's how it will work. Michael's going to say, heads up, most don't know that Hochul added 250 more armed National Guards in New York City subways, now 1,000. What's the impact? 0. My point, Mike, it is just virtual signaling. Craig goes on to say, this isn't just a New York problem. Society has been slowly breaking down for a long time. It's just exaggerated in cities. Yes. Correct. Absolutely. That's the issue.
Roger.
The AC says, what about all the extra cops they put in the subways at night? They walked by her. Cops were there. They just walked by. Literally, again, I'm not making this up, AC. You can see the video. They walked by. Let me grab Roger if I could. Roger, how are you, sir?
Hey, Larry.
What's going on?
Oh, I was just like a little bit of change of subject a little bit. I was just watching the Luigi trial, and something just made me realize that because the lady was arguing about how the mayor has tainted the jury pool by pretty much saying that like he's guilty or whatever the case is, and something made me realize today with social media, when it comes to picking juries, they're going to go through your social media content to figure out whether you're a good pick or not to sit on a juror.
Okay, let me be very clear. I literally do this. This is part of some of my consulting. That is what happens now. That's been happening for years. Literally, the DA is there. He has, or she has 2 or 3 associates all on laptops, literally doing what you just said. That happens now. Yes.
So how would they ever pick a jury for that? It's going to be a standstill.
Yes. It takes a long time and energy to pick a jury. Often days. It often takes days to pick a jury. That's correct. You're right.
Wow. So that, I guess, kind of hinders the Sixth Amendment, right? That lady was talking about that you had on your show in regards to when you was having a debate about bail reform, and the reason why there's bail reform is because we don't enforce the Sixth Amendment.
Correct. You are absolutely correct. It is an issue, and they're doing it already, my friend. Yes.
Wow.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm checking
All right,
out
brother. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you, or happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, brother.
You too.
All righty. So yes, that is happening already. 100%. Yes. AC's teasing. He says they probably didn't want to put her out because they didn't want to get in trouble with the firefighters. Shake my head. There were legal issues they were concerned about, AC. You're right. The cops didn't take action. They were worried about, is this person trying to kill themselves, which happens in New York City also. People do burn themselves on fire. Is this person some kind of bad guy or doing something? They were worried about all those things. Yes, they're all concerned. And what they should be concerned is saving the person's life. The problem is, if you save the person's life, you get in trouble in my city. You get in trouble. If you save life, if you save the limb, if you save property, you get in trouble. Kim says, and 100% agree, community level is the fix. We must strengthen family first to strengthen community. Strong families are the foundation for a strong community. Yes, yes, and yes. I can't tell you more. John goes on to say, Larry, I couldn't agree more. Promoting community is the way out of the situation we're in this country. So let me touch this now, if I could. Let me touch this right now. It is the holiday season. Today is Christmas Eve. If you celebrate Christmas, as I do, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, no worries. I'm a libertarian. You do you. I would ask you to still take advantage of the holiday system, of the holiday season. The season right now gives you a time or a chance to reach out to others. Please do so. Think about someone that you haven't talked to in a while and reach out, whether that's a phone call, a text, a letter, whatever makes the most sense for that person. Please do it now. It makes sense. You don't know, you have no idea how important your action might be to that person. If you think someone is alone during this holiday season, reach out to them. Say anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Hello, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever the case may be. If you are alone, allow someone to feel special. What I mean by that, if you're alone, reach out. They'll feel special and you'll feel special. Don't be selfish. Build your community. Everybody watching, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I will see you all very soon.
Hey,